Well, good evening, everyone, and welcome. This is a meeting of the Cabinet Subcommittee Grants. Today, Tuesday, the 25th of November 2025, and the meeting will be recorded and live streamed, just to make sure that everyone is aware of that. We would ask members of the public, and members and myself, to make sure we turn off or mute the mobile phones. Fire exits are in the appropriate places. If the alarm goes off, it's not a drill, so we will take the fire exits, use the stairs, and meet on Mill Hill. Before we start the meeting in any way, shape, or form, we'll just go around the table and ask people to introduce themselves so everyone knows who's actually here tonight. Simon, can we start with you, please?
Yeah, Councillor Simon Galton, portfolio holder for planning and member of the Grants Committee.
Councillor Darren Woodwis, portfolio holder for neighbourhood services and climate change.
Ellen Newman, Democratic Services Manager.
Evening, everyone. Steve Taylor, I'm the Health and Wellbeing Manager here at the Council.
Becky Nixon, Community Engagement Manager.
Claire Betts, Grants Officer.
Adam Mertonek, Democratic Services Apprentice.
And my name is Phil Knowles. I'm the leader of the council, and I would like to say thank you to all the members of the public who are here in the gallery this evening. When we get to the appropriate point and the different items come up on the agenda, you will be invited, if you want to, for anyone who's attending on a specific item, to come forward and speak. If you don't want to, it doesn't matter. It won't impact negatively on the considerations, but obviously it is an opportunity if you want to put forward any points of view or any comments that are pertinent to your specific applications. So moving on from that, first of all, item 1 is apologies for absence. There are none. We have the full contingent here. Declaration of members' interests, item 2. Anyone? No? No declaration of any interests. The draft minutes of the Cabinet Subcommittee Grants the 24th of the 9th, 2025, which are pages 3 to 12 of the agenda. Anyone want to make any comments, or is everyone happy that I sign them? Thank you very much. You or whatever. Yeah, that's lovely, thank you. Okay, we now move to section 4 of the agenda, which is pages 13 to 20, which is the section 106 grant applications. So I'd say that's on pages 13 to 20. I'll just hurriedly turn to those pages. Steve will give us some background and information on that. So that we've got the details. This, as I say, is 106, and it's used to develop and improve various open spaces and general community facilities. Steve, is there any specific comments you want to make?
Thank you, Chair. Yeah, I'll just introduce the report, and then if it's okay, go straight into the summary of information.
Please.
So this is the report for the 106 applications. As you've already said, funding known as 106 money is used to develop or improve community facilities and open spaces. And applications for funding over 25,000 are determined by this Cabinet Subcommittee for Grants. We've got one section 106 grant application which has been submitted and assessed during this last consultation process and is eligible for consideration at this meeting. The section 106 senior grants officer and officers from the authority have considered the application 001 S106 R4 2526 as set out in the appendix to recommend for funding in line with the Community Infrastructure Levy or SIL compliance criteria and the criteria set out in the S106 grants guidance notes. So we are, our recommendations is that the Cabinet Subcommittee grant is asked to consider the application and recommend to approve the request for St Nicholas PCC Fleckney for 48,650.84 for an access upgrade and delegate authority to the Director of Communities and Wellbeing in consultation with legal to enter into any necessary legal agreements to facilitate and document legal obligations between the Council and subsequent grant recipients of the funding. The reasons for these recommendations are that the recommendations put forward to the subcommittee have been assessed against the requirements for funding based on projects fulfilling the key S106 criteria, being SIL compliant and demonstrating project evidence of need. The project fits the criteria in the planning agreement, as well as the wider scope to request developer contributions for burial sites. The church project improves the path that visitors will use to access the cemetery and also the entrance to the church, which is used for funerals and directly relates to burial. When people visit burial sites, many will use the church as an area for reflection. Improving access into the building is an additional space for this is related to the cemetery. The wording of the planning agreement listed in the report states facilitation of burial space, where church buildings are used to facilitate burials. And this project has been discussed at our Section 106 operations meeting, which has representatives from legal, planning, finance and environmental services, as well as our Section 106 team, and all were supportive of the project fitting the criteria of the planning agreement. So that's the report.
Yeah.
Would you like me now just go into a bit more detail of what it is that they?
Yeah, you can. I think we're talking here about a grade 2 listed building as well, aren't we? Which is obviously important to note.
Yeah.
So if you want to give us a bit more information, and then obviously we'll invite to anyone wishes to address the committee before we open it up.
Okay. Yeah.
Absolutely.
So as I said, this is St Nicholas PCC Fleckney. It's for access improvements to the church building, and the total project costs for this are £55,285.29. They're requesting from Section 106 £48,615.84, and other funding is coming from the PCC reserves. There are two relevant schemes related to this. Both have spend by dates of June 2026, and the details around those agreements are within the documents outlined. Projects to upgrade and then greatly improve the access to the parish church, which is a grade 2 listed building. Alongside regular church functions such as christenings and burials, it's regularly used by village schools, concerts and holiday clubs. Project will include a new ramp and handrail in the entrance to the church, as well as improving the pathway from the steps coming from the street path to the entranceway. Due to the nature of the building, the project includes a number of precautionary elements to protect the building. Much construction and preliminary work by hand, and the need of the work being done under archaeological and specialist supervision. Completed project will facilitate the local community of all ages and abilities to access the building for many years to come across several celebrations and gathering. There's a time frame for this project, which is a completion within 6 months of receiving the funds, and the project's likely to take 12 weeks to complete. Officers are recommending this, and the reasons for the recommendation is that it meets the criteria for spending within the agreement, and there's a clear benefit for the community. Special terms and conditions. If the grant awarded, we would apply standard terms and conditions, but due to the spend by date, the project will have to have started by the 30th of January 2026, and will require a monthly update from the PCC to ensure that process continues and we get those money spent in time. We have an officer comment here. It says the project's been a significant need for the church for a long time, with the current PCC having to engage and negotiate with many bodies ranging from specialist architects, the diocese, Historic England, Harbour District Council and specialist contractors, amongst others, to get the project ready for delivery as soon as funding is secured. That's it from me, Chair. Thank you.
Thank you, Steve. Is there someone here from the church who might wish to address the committee? I think there is. Good evening, Reverend. Yeah, please sit down and press the button, and then it should light up red. That's it. There you go.
Yes, well, very good evening, everybody. I'm Father Philip O'Ryan. I'm parish priest at Fleckney. I've been vicar there for a quarter of a century next year, which is unusual these days. And throughout that time, disability access has been really very high on our agenda. Really, it's been well beyond what we've been able to do because of just the sheer cost of it, really. A legacy helped us to get started on it. And then with the grant funding, we should now, at long last, be able to bring it home. It's as well as being parish church, we're also shelter the War Memorial in the village. So that's obviously a very key thing. And especially with the many of the veterans now, with mobility issues, etc., it just makes it possible for them now to come to the Village War Memorial, which would be a very, very important thing. there's been very limited access to our church over all the time I've been there, but we can't take motorised wheelchairs. There's just no possibility of that. What has made the project more expensive, really, and harder is typically of medieval churches. It's a very, very narrow frontage, so it means the ramp has to sweep around a lot further around. So it's made it pretty difficult. It's been protracted because of very, very complicated discussions to do with we've got a Saxon porch. And that's really made it very, very complicated with all the various people needing to give permission to it. So that's dragged it out. Unfortunately, it dragged it through the COVID period, then to seen the costs just, go up, hugely, really. So to get to this point will be a tremendous thing for our community, really. And interestingly, as you'll know, with the inclusion agenda in our schools, we're having more children now with special needs in our maintained sector, and we've already got a little one in a wheelchair, and that's going to become more of a thing as the years go by. So as the children come to us to worship, and also for RE history as well, it's important that we try to make this beautiful ancient place available to them.
Thank you very much. I think it's one of the things that we as a subcommittee are obviously very keen on, and as a council very keen on, is investment in the community. And this certainly seems to fit the bill. I just want to open this up now to my colleagues to see what comments they have to make and see if we have any questions at all. No?
No, so another worthy cause. As we said before, these reports are so comprehensive, it doesn't leave us much to ask at the end of it. So thank you, and I agree with it.
Simon?
No, read the report, totally in favour of the application. In fact, I'm very happy to move it, allocate this developer funding so that they can get on and get the project underway to meet the timescale.
Absolutely great. So Simon, you're prepared to move it down? Do you want to second it?
Yeah.
So it has been moved and seconded. Before I put it to a vote, I just think the officers want to add anything. I think it's all. No? That's good. Anything else you'd like to add?
Well, if I could just say on behalf of the PCC how grateful we are to the officers who've been so helpful to us throughout this process. We honestly wouldn't have got to this point without the help we've had from the officers. So I'd just like to put it on the record, please, if we can.
Absolutely. Yeah, we're very lucky. Our grants team do a lot, well, all our officers, but our grants team do a tremendous amount of work for us on these projects. So thank you very much. I'm very happy to have that put on the record. So it has been moved and seconded. All those in favour? Anyone against? No, that is carried. And the officers will make sure that they are in touch with you with regards to provision of the funding.
Thank you very much.
Thank you very much. And thank you for coming to see us.
Thank you.
We now move on to section 5 of the agenda, which is the £1 million community grant applications, which are on pages 21 through to 48. So I'll just turn through to that. And obviously this is quite an extensive report again. So what we always do is we ask our officers to give us the background to it. Becky, do you want to give us some information on this, please?
Yes, so I think probably most people here are familiar with the community grant. So we've gone into the second year now, the second 1 million of the community grant. So tonight we're hearing a couple of things. One is the first round in year 2. We opened and closed around quite quickly this time, so we could fit in with this grants committee and timescale. So we have a few applications. We know we've got a load more coming through for the next grant committee in round 2. And the other thing that we're looking at as well, the same process, but just coming out of a slightly different fund. At the end of year 1, there was an underspend of just under 74,000, which the subcommittee grant set criteria for in terms of who could apply for that, which was basically organisations that either hadn't used their full allocation in year 1, or organisations such as those that were operating across the district that couldn't apply basically because of the parish allocations and the parish structure. So we have 5 applications for the underspend for year 1, and we have 7 applications tonight for round 1 of year 2. nobody really needs to worry about what the funds are coming for. When we get the applications, the grants officers, Claire and Soretta, work with organisations to just work out what's most appropriate. So again, in year 2, the 1 million fund's been allocated across towns and parish councils in the same way. And as last time, they need to show that the applications meet the council for priorities around pride in place, around economic development, around environmental improvements and health and well-being. The grants officers have assessed them all and we'll go through the detail of each of them, and those of you who are here will get a chance to speak. There's one amendment to the applications coming through for year 2, round 1. And that's a slight reduction in the amount that Success Academy Trust, which is Thomas Etsley, is asking for. So the overall project is now 7,639, and they're asking for 7,000 community grant, and will make up the rest themselves. But Claire will go through that again at the time at which we look at that project. The grant asks for support of the parish council or town council or parish meeting in each area, which all of them have got, and also the views of a district ward councillor, which again the grants officers make sure that they are all submitted as well.
I think the one thing I will say before we move into this, it's been quite remarkable with these grants, this £1 million grant fund that we instigated, to see the fact that sometimes people are coming in and asking for as little as a few £100s to make something really happen for the community. And then the next application will be for tens of thousands of pounds. Everyone's a worthy application, and it's been tremendous to see the positive impact this is having on all of our communities. So I think what we'll do is we'll move straight into the item. And the first one I have is Saddington Parish Meeting, £1,560. which is the remaining parish allocation from year 1 is 5,000. The ward councillor reviews were received some time ago. Becky, do you want to make any specific comments on that, or should we bring in Claire, or should we bring in anyone who's here to speak?
Shall I do a summary?
Yeah, please do.
It's all my voice tonight, I'm afraid. So yes, this project is the installation of 7 road markings to improve awareness of vehicle drivers to the 20-mile-per-hour speed limits through the village. Rural village with many concealed entrances to homes and farms, which are difficult to exit by the residents, particularly when traffic is moving quickly and when visibility is poor. Horse riding lessons take place in the area. Toddlers and children are seen riding on the road, cyclists and runners, and there are ramblers out as well, all using the village to exercise. The whole community would benefit. There have been accidents involving cars, property and near misses. The project would meet the health and safety value. By reducing the speed, it would aim for a safer and calmer environment for residents and visitors. The 20-mile-per-hour zone has been implemented and is observed by most drivers, but there is a minority of through traffic motorists driving at higher speeds, which may be due to failing to recognise the 20-mile-per-hour zone, as these are not that common. It would also create a sustainable environment as the traffic would conform to the speed limit and reduce fuel consumption and vehicle emissions. So just to recap, the application is 1,560 and there's still 73,000 in the pots, plenty of scope there. All the applications tonight for this underspend round only total 10,717. The parish meeting did speak back in round 3 and present this, so they're not here again tonight. And the committee liked the project, but at the time the small parishes pot was oversubscribed and it was agreed to put their application forward to the underspend round now.
Okay, so there's no one here to address it on this. Again, this is something we've been through before on this one, as you say quite specifically. Simon, Darren, anything you want to put in on it?
No, anything that going to attempt to address driver behaviour and slow traffic through villages. It's a common problem. So it's a worthwhile project, and I note that they've been able to come back because we slightly modified the rules on the underspend. No point having that sitting there, is there? So happy to move it.
Fine, Dan.
Yes, I remember the evening. We actually had 2 sets of councillors in that evening talking about speeding, so it's obviously very prevalent. Yeah, support it wholeheartedly. I just want to clarify when it says road markings, we're talking about signage rather than painting the road, aren't we? Or
It's actually markings. Yeah, so they've gone into detail here. So a roundel. Yeah,
That's it.
roundels. So I think they're all roundels. Yeah,
Okay, Johnny.
yeah, it's how they describe.
Okay, well, it has to be moved and seconded. All those in favour? Anyone against? That is carried. We now move on to the next item, which is Ilston on the Hill Parish Council. Replacement of fencing and installation of gate around the recreation ground.
So this is for 2,726. Again, this is from the underspend pot. The total project would be a little more 3,238, but the PC would contribute the balance. The project is to install new fencing and a gate to protect the safety of children using the recreation ground. This is about 4,000 square metres of grassland bounded by a perimeter wooden fence and includes swings, a climbing house with slide and a small roundabout. In terms of evidence of need, the annual safety inspection raised concerns about the poor state of the wooden perimeter fence with rotten posts and rails and the fact that there is no gate to prevent children from running out onto the main road that runs alongside. The fence collapses, a recreation ground would need to be closed, and it's the only facility of its kind in the village. This would address health and well-being. It's used extensively by both villagers and their families, also used by many casual visitors to the village who enjoy the use of the picnic tables for seating whilst the children play. And the benefit of healthy exercise for all. And the secure fencing and the installation of the gate will ensure the safety of the children. So it's for 2,726 is the balance they have remaining from what they already spent in year one. So that is permitted under our criteria. And there are 5 applications for the underspend round tonight, and they are here tonight.
Okay, well, we have had some comments from Councillor Scott in support. And if someone would like to come forward and speak, please take a seat, turn the mic on, introduce yourself, and take as long as you need.
Good evening, it's Ian Lord, the Vice Chair of the Ilston on the Hill Parish Council. I think it is fairly self-evident for what's been described. The problem was identified by our annual safety inspection. In fact, they've been flagging it up for about 2 or 3 years, but it's got significantly worse now, to the point that we are seriously concerned that I think just a gentle push on this fence and it would just fall over. So that, plus the fact that there isn't any gate that controls access and egress from the recreation ground onto the main road. Well, we're calling it the village road, but there's no way of preventing children from running straight out into the traffic at the moment. So that is also quite a dangerous situation for us. And I'll commend the application to you, Chairman.
Thank you. Life's a very precious gift, and anything we can do to protect it, I think, is important. Simon, anything you want to say? Darren? No. Happy to move. Happy to second. Any officer comments? Anything else? Okay, all those in favour? Anyone against? Thank you very much, and thank you very much for coming to see us. So we now move on to the next item on the agenda, which is St Leonard's Church, Thorpe Langton, purchase of items to improve seating, storage, and play equipment for young people. The amount requested is £3,218. Fair?
So it's, yes, to purchase seating, tables, storage, a display board and play equipment for the children and young people of Thorpe Langton to be installed in St Leonard Church. In terms of evidence of need, children of the parish, parents and grandparents have been consulted as to what they would like to see in the church, and this project is in response to their feedback. It meets the health and well-being criteria. For rural children, especially those who have less space at home, the church building provides the only village area for indoor space to relax, socialise and play. There's recently been an influx of families with young children into the village, and the project hopes to make these families and their children welcome and able to use the church's community cafe, community space, play areas and arranged events. For example, they have stonemason demonstration open day to which schools are sending students to learn about heritage crafts as a career. The project will widen the age range of users of the building with seating and equipment designed for young and older children. Part of the project is to set up a monthly kids club from September to April, aimed to enable children from East Church and Thorpe Langton to use the enhanced facilities. And it's hoped that a parents and baby group will use the space with special emphasis on engaging new mums within the farming community. The only other thing to note is a special time and condition if the grant was awarded. The PCC understands that the church faculty has to give permission for any new items in the church, even when they're not fixed assets, as is the case in this project. So they are just waiting on receipt of this permission, but do not anticipate any issues with this. If awarded, the grant offer should have the special condition that the award is on condition that PCC does receive the necessary faculty permission. And I think there's someone here tonight.
Well, before we do that, what happens if permission isn't granted?
Then we wouldn't
Money.
award it, so it's just only on
That's
condition.
fine. Okay, that's lovely. Thank you. Right, is there someone here who would like to speak? Please take a seat.
Is it on already?
Yep, you're all ready.
I'm Irene Ward from Thorpe Langton, and I'll just read out. It's a joint project between the PCC and the village meeting. And from the PCC, Claire Charles has neither Claire Charles nor Gemma O'Brien can be here because they have young children and they are put into bed as we speak. The PCC are keen to enhance the provision for children in our church. There are currently no child-friendly tables, chairs or play resources. So we would welcome the opportunity to expand this provision for our community, subject to faculty requirements. And from Gemma, the Thorpe Langton Village Meeting wholeheartedly backs this grant application. In conjunction with the PCC, St Leonard's Church is the only community space we have here in Thorpe Langton, and we're delighted that we've been able to increase residents' use of the space over the last year, in addition to our wonderful monthly community cafes. At present, the space isn't very child friendly, and we're lucky to have an ever increasing number of children in the village. I've just counted 40 in my head. This may not be exhaustive. If we're successful in our application, the additional resources to make the space more usable and appealing to children should see it used even more, adding further to our sense of community. Slightly selfishly, as the mother of two primary age children, I love what we're doing more as a community. And I'm particularly excited about this project. And I'm really happy that we are hopefully going to get this money to provide resources for children in the church, because it's, as people have already said, it's our only community space and we want to use it more and more. I'd like to say thank you to Claire, who's very helpful, especially when I was trying to finish off the application while I was on holiday abroad, and it said, oh, you can't access this site, but it all worked out in the end. And as subject to the faculty, which I can see that you've already thought about, when I had a discussion with the officer, he said it is a process that you have to go through, and children's furniture and toys, we're not going to turn that down. But that was an informal conversation rather than something written. So as soon as we are able to, we will get the faculty permission.
Thank
Any
you.
questions?
I'll open it up in a second, but I mean, obviously, one of the important things for us as a committee is that we are able to look at things for people of all ages. And we do get these applications for an incredible cross-section of our residents and our community. So, you know, it's nice to see something dedicated to the very young ones. Darren, do you want to come in?
Yeah, I'd just like to underline our commitment to helping the younger people in our district. So we have a youth worker, obviously, and we'd like to push more projects to support our youth as well. So not enough facilities for them as it is.
Thank you, Darren. Simon?
Absolutely.
Okay. Well, I think you've got quite a level of support here at the moment. So, Darren, do you want to formally move it? You will. Simon, do you want to second it? Okay. Well, I'm very happy to support it as well. So, all those in favour? Anyone against? That's carried unanimously. Thank you very much. And please pass our best wishes to everyone concerned. And thanks for bringing the project to us.
On the village WhatsApp tonight. Thank you very much.
Pleasure. Thank you for your time. Okay, we now move on to the next item on the agenda, which is on page 35, which is the Leicester Musical Memory Box. And this really reflects what we said earlier about the different amounts of money they're looking for just £675 for this scheme. So it really does show you all the different levels that we get asked for. We've had comments and support from Councillor James. So Claire, do you want to come in?
So yes, very straightforward project. The purchase of 3 contactless card donation machines. The current cash-only system limits donations and adds administrative pressure for volunteers. Card machines will simplify payments, support financial transparency and encourage sustainable giving. In terms of the group, participants come from across Market Harbour, Broughton Astley, Lutterworth, Burnley and surrounding villages, with many attending joint events from neighbouring districts. Project helps maintain and grow a dementia-friendly, inclusive environment that supports well-being, reduces isolation and fosters intergenerational community connections. The sessions use music and singing to improve memory, mood and well-being. This is our first district-wide project, so it's good to see this under the underspend round because it fits the criteria. They're not here tonight as it's such a small value and simple project.
Simon, do you want to come in?
My only query about this is to enable to take card donations, is it?
Yes.
So you can get firms that will provide these card machines for nothing, particularly to charities and such organisations. Others take a small charge every time it's used. So if somebody donates a £5, they take 10p or something. But they provide the actual equipment free. So it is possible. I'm not against this at all, but I'm not in favour of a company making money out of card machines if another company is willing to provide them to these sorts of organisations.
But we explored that.
They didn't mention they seem to be quite up on what they can get, but I didn't know that specifically.
I mean, as someone who runs a small business, I wouldn't pay for a card machine. I find a company that's prepared to give me a card machine, the actual piece of equipment. They take a rake every time somebody uses it, and that's how they make their money. But you don't actually have to buy it. You can buy the equipment, and there are companies that will charge you every day for the equipment. But there are other companies out there that will offer it FOC without mentioning any names. So I just wondered if they'd explored that. But I'm not against this at all.
You just want some clarity.
It's a good project.
Yeah.
But there might be a way of actually getting it cheaper, and then they could use this money for something else.
Maybe we need to explore that.
Yes, I know Saretta was in touch with them, so I can see if she
Yeah,
already asked that.
you know, if you could just say we're not-
I mean, without mentioning any names, I'm happy to provide companies that do provide these outside the meeting.
We are sympathetic, but obviously, I think Councillor Norton's raised a very, very valuable point. Alan, do you want to say anything?
No, so obviously what they do is vital, and yeah, we are moving to a cashless society whether we like it or not. So with that caveat, I do support this.
Perhaps we could delegate it that if they've investigated this and it doesn't work for them, then we go ahead. But if there is a way of getting the machines for free,
I think that's a good way of doing it.
We
You can
delegate
delay it then.
but then we're not delaying it.
I'm just Googling it. I am just Googling it, and it does say, I mean, it may be that you know things that we don't, but it does say, while a completely free card machine for charities is rare, many options offer free initial setup or lower costs. So it might end up being a kind of better buy thing in terms of it's better to just buy it outright instead of carrying on paying. But I think that sounds like a good solution of just going back, and if you could.
I think Councillor Gordon said is we're happy to support it. We'd like our officers just to check it. And obviously, if it transpires, it could be acquired for free. And obviously, at your discretion, then you can bring this back to us and say, look, we haven't had to give the money.
It's a simple cost benefit.
Exactly. I'll try that again. Yeah, it's been a long day. Okay, all those in favour? Anyone against? That is carried unanimously. We can leave that with you, Claire.
Yeah.
I think that the next one, which is the purchase of an installed defibrillator or purchase an installed defibrillator, Paddington Town Council, which is for Moseley Parish Council. Do you want to
Yes, it's a small rural parish of approximately 223 residents with an ageing population and limited access to nearby services. The village has no shop, post office or bus route, and the nearest A&E hospital is 11 miles away, taking around 30 minutes to reach. The current defibrillator installed in 2013 is no longer supported by the manufacturer, and users have reported concerns about its condition and reliability. Community Heartbeat has confirmed that similar models are now failing due to service errors, battery drainage and casing issues. In terms of who will benefit, it would be the entire Mouseley community, ensuring that all residents have access to life-saving emergency support within minutes. It would promote health and well-being, obviously saving lives in the event of cardiac arrest. And the installation will also raise awareness of heart health and encourage residents to consider healthier lifestyles. The request is for 253 from the underspend round, and I think they're here tonight.
I think one of the important things it says here is that there's a very key comment in there about early defibrillation within 3 to 5 minutes of collapse can increase survival rates by 50 to 70%. That's an incredibly important comment that's there. Is there anything else you want to add at all?
No, that's
okay. Oh, someone would like to come forward and speak? Yes, please do.
And it's Mouseley. Please, not Moseley.
Mouseley, that's my accent from years ago when I was born over in the West Midlands coming through there. I spend a lot of time telling people it's not Great Bowden, it's Great Bowden. So absolutely support you on that. I do apologise.
Mouseley is in a state of flux at the moment because we've not got a parish meeting and we've not got a council. We're trying to become a council. I was the acting chair, so I've come here because the two parishioners who kindly researched grants for new defibrillator neither can come tonight. I think so. If any questions come up, might not
fingers crossed.
But the first defibrillator, we raised all the money for that ourselves. And we also had doctors in the village who've now gone who gave training to parishioners. And, you know, after the first few months, someone said, well, it's not being used. I said, yes, exactly. We don't want it used, but it is there. But it has been used, not with the best results. And the person who lives across the road has very assiduously looked after it, checked it as we're bound to do. And she came to me and she said, you know, we do need a new defibrillator. Things are rusting, the battery's going downhill. She said also, it's not under warranty anymore. We can't get the parts. And she said, and also now I think we need different pads for children. And I thought about this, and when I was having a sleepless night, I lay in bed and counted how many children were in the village. It works, you know. I only got to 40 and I'd gone to sleep, I think. So I did it the next night, and yes, we had 40 children. And we've got 39 dogs. Couldn't count the cats. They don't come out and let me know. But we've got all those children. I thought, yes, we need to cover them as well. And as we've got a village hall that's got a hole in the floor, we need a new floor, and as we've got a play area that needs maintenance, we thought we'd come to you and hopefully you'd give us a fair bit of the money. I think we've already had some towards having a new defibrillator. Can I also say that cyclists are extremely noisy, and we have a lot of cyclists coming through Mouseley and walkers, and we'd like to be able to have a working defibrillator in case anything happens for them as well.
That's a wonderful sentiment. And apologies again for the mispronunciation. Right, Simon, would you want to come in on this?
Absolutely, safety issue. Helping the community to help themselves. Mouseley is particularly rural, so response time could be critical. And yeah, definitely.
Yes, I echo those sentiments and apologise for being so noisy. So having many times.
I didn't know he was cyclist on
Which aspects of the cycling is the noisy? The chatter or the bikes themselves?
No, it's the singing, Darren, as you're going through.
Or is it my breathing? I don't know at the moment, but yeah. So I enjoy that.
I think you get a fair degree of support there and a bit of comedy to go with it as well. Are you formally moving this? Okay. Simon?
Happy to second.
Well, it's a very important scheme and we're very happy to support it. So all those in favour? Anyone against? That is carried. And thank you very much indeed
Yes,
for coming to
thank
see
you
us.
very, very much to Claire for her help.
Thank you and thanks for coming to see us. Okay. We're now moving on to page 38 of the report, which is the planting of 8 trees in the recreational area of the village to replace dead trees. And this is Ilston-on-the-Hill Parish Council. The amount they're looking for is £5,000. And this is supported by Councillor Scott. Claire, do you want to?
Okay, so yes, it's for the planting of 4 hornbeam and 4 field maple trees, better suited to cope with the clay soils and presenting less of a future maintenance concern. They are to replace 8 dead diseased ash trees in the recreational playground area of the village, which is a conservation area. In terms of evidence of need, the findings of a tree safety report plus concerns about the trees and state of the playground area have been raised by local residents, an adjacent horse rescue business and on a safety inspection facility. It's the only public access green space within the conservation village. As such, it is a very special resource and a vitally important component of life in a somewhat isolated rural village, and is used and appreciated greatly by locals, as indicated by their feedback. The playground is used mostly by 4 to 11-year-olds and their families. However, over the last 10 years, there has also been a big increase in use by walkers and cyclists as the space is on the route from the city to the Cafe Ventura at Tugby and Buckley Water. It would meet health and well-being, encouraging children and others to use this delightful green space for recreation and sports. It also provides rest and relaxation for adults. Sustainable environment is another value. It would maintain a number of trees in the park using species less likely to become diseased. So the request is for 5,000 out of the pot. We shared 40,000 for all the smaller parishes. And there are no other applications for the smaller parishes pots in this round. As we know they are. Yeah.
Well, again, you know, we have a clear commitment to providing trees and working towards improving the environment. So is there someone who'd like to come forward? Yes, please.
Yeah, it's Ian Lauder again, Vice Chair of the Ilston-on-the-Hill Parish Council. I'm an expert on human disease, but I don't profess to know this about tree disease, except that Claire may have seen one of the pictures recently that Holly Norval, who's a prominent local correspondent on social media, a picture of an ash tree which is directly opposite our children's play area. And I was actually appalled because this tree is about 1 meter in diameter, and when they cut it down, I reckon it's 50% of the inside was completely hollow. It was, and if the other, well, we know one of the trees was as bad because we had one taken down already after a branch fell down into the adjacent horse rescue site, and the owners complained about it. So we had to have one taken out. But my guess is, having seen the state of the one on the other side of the road, how bad it was, that the other 5 trees are probably equally bad. I mean, unfortunately, like human beings, where you can open them and look inside, you can't do that with a tree. But I'm assuming that because of the one on the other side is so badly diseased, that the others are probably equally bad, and a really strong wind could blow any of them down any day now. So we're pretty desperate to get this work done, Chairman, and then to ensure that the place looks good, because it's an important green space for the village. We've taken the advice of the tree people to plant new trees to replace the ones that have been taken out.
Okay, that's fine. Dan, come in.
Yeah, so I assume this amount includes the removal of the existing trees, does it?
Yes.
It's £625 a tree. I thought that's quite expensive, but yeah, I mean, to address the issue about ash trees, the hollowing out is, if they're ever damaged, ash trees take in a lot of water, so they need a lot, something like 400 gallons a day or something like that. And if they're damaged, like a branch comes off, they actually suck moisture in through the branch hole, and then it just rots them out in the middle. So they do a tap test, and if they go dum dum, they're hollow, and that's when you need to fell them. So yeah, I fully support this if they are indeed diseased or damaged in that way. So yes.
Thank you. Son?
Yeah, so it's a bit like percussing your chest, Chairman.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah. You moving?
Yeah.
Yes, you're moving it. Okay, Simon? That's been moved and seconded. All those in favour? That's unanimous. And very happy to support.
I'd also like to put on record the tremendous help and support we've had from Claire and the whole team at Harbour District Council. I mean, putting these grants together is a very painful business, but the support we had was tremendous. Yeah.
I think the important thing is, and we've said this to so many people and so many groups, is that if you have one of these applications, for whatever it is, whether it's for £100 or whatever the thing might be, 20, 30, 40, 30, you know, talk to the officers, because these guys are the professionals and they will help you. And see the level of the reports that they're bringing to us. They're really extensive, they're full of information, and it means that it makes our job a lot easier to decide, because they do an incredible job sort of filtering out things that we can't support, but also assisting people who come forward with applications in making sure that we can support wherever possible. I think, you know, it's obviously we can see yourselves tonight, you know, it's a tremendous cross section really that we're able to invest in, because it is, after all, investing in our community, and that's important. Don't you want to come in?
I was just going to add a note. So ash is one of the best woods to burn. So if your tree surgeon will leave you the wood to season, you can distribute it amongst the
We've
village.
had several offers already.
Yes.
Well, thank you very much. So it has been moved and seconded, and we're all in favour. And it's carried.
Thank you, Chairman.
Thank you very much indeed, and thank you for coming to see us. We now move on to page 40 of the agenda, which is Tilton on the Hill and Halstead Parish Council to upgrade 40-year-old street lights to LED. The amount requested is £6,750. Councillor Moder has very kindly contacted and given her support to this. So do you want to come in, Claire, and give us some background?
So the total project would just be slightly more, 8,800, and the balance would come from the PC reserves. In terms of the project, it's to upgrade 14 old streetlights to LED ones. Due to the complexity of the whole task, only LCC can undertake all elements, and therefore it's only been possible to supply one quote. Other suppliers would only cherry pick easiest elements. Tasks to complete the project include straightening one bent lamppost, upgrading old electrics on 2 of them, replace damaged bracket on one, and replacement of one age-condemned concrete lamppost. The evidence of need, the old streetlights gave little illumination to ensure pedestrian safety, particularly as Main Street has no pavement and Oakham Road only one narrow one. The residents were asked on the village WhatsApp whether they felt there was a need, and they were all supportive of the proposal. In terms of who will benefit, safety will be provided for all residents. It is a bustling little village with lots of amenities and activities. The St Peter's Church is central, with the Rose and Crown pub, with a shop, hall, playing fields, children's playground, lots of different things and clubs. There's also a well-supported fish and chip van that comes twice a week. Parishioners usually attend all amenities by foot. All these activities are outside daylight hours at some time of the year. So the PC felt that this would certainly address health and well-being, encouraging parishioners more likely to go walking and out during the winter months, and would give added security for children walking back from the bus stop. It will also help the elderly whose vision may be variably impaired will continue to maintain social contact. It would also assist sustainable environments, with LED lights are more energy efficient and have smaller carbon footprint, longer lasting, and require less maintenance. The request is for 6,750 out of a parish allocation of 10,000, and tonight the PC will be supporting another application from St Peter's Church for the remaining parish allocation. So both applications together would use the full allocation, and there are no other organisations from that parish presented. And Kathy here tonight.
Claire, before we open this up, can I just get some clarification? Who actually owns these lights?
Parish.
Parish Council.
The parish council.
Yes,
That's
yes.
It's a I thought it was. I just wanted to know. Yeah. I just wanted to make sure that was on the record, because obviously I'm sure somebody will ask us. Please take a seat.
So, I mean, it is a quirk of history, because years ago you could, historically, going back 100 years, parish councils in rural areas provided streetlights. It was a parish function, and it still is. They still have the power to do it. But the county council was willing to take them over, have them bought up. So if the parish paid to bring them up to standard, then the county would adopt them and then take them on. I think that's stopped for financial reasons, and there are still many parishes around Leicestershire that are still responsible for streetlights. What the county has done is if there's an A-class road or a B road going through the village, then they will take responsibility for those lights, but they won't take responsibility for lights in residential streets, sort of the main street of the village, back lanes and that sort of thing. So it's actually fairly common. And when they did the LED program, probably about 10 years ago, they converted something like 250,000 streetlights. There was no provision made to do these parish ones. They basically said to the parishes, you'll have to pay yourselves.
I think it's just worthwhile clarifying that, because obviously we know somebody's going to raise it. That's the question. So
I was going to ask the question, do the parishes pay for the upkeep, so the electricity?
Yeah.
So my comment was going to be, they do solar powered lampposts, which are roughly about the same price as this one when I work out, but so then they wouldn't have the forward costs. But that's just my 10 pence.
okay, thank you. Sorry about that. About having
No,
to
no, no, it's all right.
Would you like to introduce yourself?
Yeah, I'm Kathy Taylor. I'm the parish clerk at Tilton Hill and Holsted Parish Council. I really can't add to my application, to be honest. Tilton on Hill's a fabulous village with a really bustling community. And in that way, we did ask the parishioners on the WhatsApp, and they were all in support of having the lights upgraded. To go to the maintenance point, yes, we pay for we do own them, and I'm emotionally attached to all of them now, because some of backed on the electricity lampposts. Some have got old electric connections, and if they have, we need to get the National Grid involved, which is an additional £900 to do the conversion. Yeah. We've got our condemned concrete one, which is luckily next to the churchyard, and I think that gives it spiritual strength to keep going. So in that way, it's going to make a huge difference to the community. Absolutely. To go to the point of the LED, I did look into that. They're actually really expensive, 2,200 each, and you need sunny spots. And in that way, the little village lanes that they're in do not get enough sunshine. So in that way, I did look into that. But because that would need the whole lamppost replacing, and we can just pop one on the top for £300. Tony Bull's been an excellent source of information at the council, so that's brilliant. And because every village is going to benefit from this, along with the next application, if I can just, because they both bookend, ours will benefit them all because bringing them up to the present time, and it will give a long-term benefit for all the parishioners in the future. The other application is St Peter's Church was in the Doomsday Book. It's really ancient. The plot keeps absolutely excellent time, and the church is central to the village and the spirit in the community. And they're looking for 3,250 to electrify the plot winding mechanism, because at the moment you've got somebody that's got to go up a fixed wooden ladder, and they have to stand on a fixed wooden platform which isn't terribly wide, and they then to pull the weight up through all the way up to the top of the bell tower, so that can drop over the full week. So they're looking for funds to electrify that, so that's keeping our ancient history, as it were, and that whereas the parish is looking to bring it forward to modern times. So yes, we'd be very grateful for the grant. Every single parishioner will benefit, and in that way, we're grateful for you having to think about it.
Thank you. That's quite a good piece of background, and a lot of dedication from the person who has to go up and put the council away. That's incredible.
That's it. Well, there was one chap that was doing it for years, wasn't there?
He's 80 now, and he's told me he couldn't do it anymore.
That is incredible service to the community. It certainly is. Right.
This is Kathy Letts, who's the treasurer from St Peter's. So but we decided Kathy with a K and Kathy with a C, but it's such a wonderful community. That's why we thought they'd go well together.
Lovely. That's great. Right. Simon, do you want to start?
Yep, 100% in favour of this. Get rid of these old sodium lights. They'll pay these. This will pay for itself because the LEDs are not as good as solar. I take Darren's point, but the LEDs are so efficient. They last longer. They use less electric. They'll be better. They're more directional lighting. They don't flood everywhere. So it's just a good project, and really pleased the parish is able to take this forward, and happy to move it, Chair.
Thank you. Darren, do you want to?
I wholeheartedly agree. Do you know by what mechanism you pay? Because it's not normally metered, is it? The usage of lampposts.
Well, Leicester County Council, who also do the maintenance, which to touch on the point Simon's just made, with the old sodium ones, it costs £59 a year to have the maintenance contract for those, because all the bits are getting hard to pricing, whereas the LED ones will be £20 a year. So in that way,
And I think there's a fixed deemed usage as well for the electricity, isn't there?
yeah,
So obviously that-
somehow I asked this, how do they work out how much ours is? And apparently somebody's got this fancy formula and they work it out to the penny, which I do think is a bit optimistic. But anyway, we get it. We have our contract and the electricity from Leicester, the county council, because we feel it's more sensible to just keep it under one roof.
Well, I think this is obviously something that's going to benefit the whole community
Yeah.
for a number of years ahead.
Yeah.
And it's certainly a good investment in the community by the council, which I think, again, from our point of view, is something we're very, very keen to do. It has been moved and seconded. So all those in favour? Anyone against? No, that is unanimous. Thank you very much indeed.
Can I just say huge thanks to Claire? She's fabulous. And she spells her name with an I in it, as does my daughter.
I've got a feeling somebody's going to be getting Employee of the Year award here.
And we're going to.
Thank you for that. We now move on to the next item on the agenda, which is to change the winding mechanism on the church clock from a manual one to an electrified one. Do you want to come along and tell us a bit about this, or have you?
Well, the clock at Chiltern Church. Chiltern Church is a Grade 1 listed building, and the clock has over the last few years been looked after by a farming family that's lived in the village forever, I think, and they have paid to have it re-enamelled and painted on the outside, and it's been serviced, and a lot of the clock's been replaced. Generally, sorry, I don't.
Please get some water.
It's a cough. Generally, it's been looked after, say, by my next door neighbour, Derek, who's been winding the bells for 30 years. We've now got a young man of 65, I think, who does it. But when he's on holiday, we're finding it very difficult now to get it wound by somebody. Derek could only manage halfway a couple of days of it now. We do kind of spread it around, but I feel that to future-proof the church clock, we really do need to bring it into the 21st century. There's not going to be any objections from the diocese. I've already started an application, a faculty, which you have to have for all churches and things. And that is in the process of being completed now. So there's no objections from the diocese. And I know the village is behind us because that clock is actually generally right to a minute. And if it's not, Derek usually gets a phone call to say it's not, it's, you know, it's a minute out or something. A lot of people use the clock, and I've said, you know, Chiltern are usually on time because they do use the clock a lot. So thank you. And we really, and we really would appreciate the fact that we can future-proof that clock that is in the middle of the village and everybody kind of sees it. and it would be a wonderful thing for us to be able to do.
Well, ordinarily, I would have asked the officers to speak first, but I think we've had testimony from the community on this one,
We have,
which I think is important.
Yeah.
So thank you, Claire. We all think your report was wonderful. I'll get that one in quick. But I think, this is obviously something that is very dear to the hearts of the community.
It is. Yeah.
Simon, do you want to,
Yeah.
I think you know this area pretty well.
Yeah, my daughter got married there, so yeah, absolutely. It's a good idea to future proof it.
Yeah.
You can't expect that somebody's going to be able to go and wind that clock up all the time for the next 50 years. So use modern technology. Yeah.
Darren?
Yeah, I just remember the day when St Dionysus stopped and didn't ring, and I lived on the high street then. Everyone woke up at midnight going, because it didn't. So just imagine what's happening here. So to save you that, so, yeah, fully support it.
Right, thank you.
Okay, do you want to move that, Simon?
Yeah. Move.
Been moved by Simon. Darren, happy to second it. All those in favour? Anyone against? No. Very happy, and thank you very much for telling us all about the project.
Thank you.
Thank you. We now move on to the next item, which is on page 43, which is the Academy Trust, and it is Thomas Estley Community College, and its details the new community kitchen. Claire, do you want to?
Yes, so just a reminder, this is just now being slightly amended. They're just requesting 7,000 and the project total would be 7,639 and they would input the rest. And it's for the purchase and installation of kitchen and flooring. The community kitchen renovation project seeks to fully refurbish and modernise the existing kitchen facilities. The works will make the space safe, accessible and suitable for continued community use. The kitchen is currently borderline fit for purpose with safety and accessibility issues that limit participation by elderly users and those with mobility difficulties. The kitchen plays a vital role in supporting the elderly, vulnerable and low-income households through 2 luncheon clubs. Letters of support for this project have been received from user groups. The updated kitchen will continue to serve as a central hub for community activity and wellbeing, supporting a wide range of local user groups. In addition to the luncheon clubs, there are the sea cadets and weekend dance clubs and wider community groups, including bowls, also use it after weekly games. The refurbishment directly addresses the Equality Act requirements by ensuring inclusive design for wheelchair users and those with limited mobility. It would address community leadership. The facility brings together local residents, volunteers and groups of all ages. While the facility is a school, it should be noted that it is widely and regularly used by all these community groups, but also promote health and well-being, supporting this through nutritious meals, social inclusion and volunteering opportunities. That's all I need to say, and they are really it.
Please come forward.
Good evening, everyone. I'm Janine Hartley. I'm one of the assistant principals at Thomas Estley. I've been at the college for 12 years. And just a bit of background, we became an Academy Trust, and rather than becoming Thomas Estley Academy Trust, we kept community college in our title because we're very much an open site, very much open to the community. Twice weekly luncheon clubs where residents of the village who are elderly come to college and have lunch with teenagers, and they have their lunch prepared in the community kitchen, and the dining room's open, and the students and elderly have their lunch in the same area, helping each other with their trays, etc., etc. And the intergenerational project of that is really beneficial, mutually beneficial for all concerned. The kitchen is in the centre of the college, but it's used by community groups throughout the school day. It's used at the weekends and the evenings by lots of different members of the community. I mentioned the Sea Cadets that use it on a Monday after they've had their meeting. It's a base for our over 65s bowls group that meet in the college in the evening, and then they have the social space of the kitchen afterwards. There is not the money in the school budget to be able to refurbish the community kitchen, and it is very much, it's not a staff facility or a student facility. It's something that is open to everybody, and there will be people there that are in their 70s and 80s using the facilities, but also we have young dance groups in there and meeting, and very much across the generations. We need it to be safe. We need it to be we need it to be there. And actually, it's quite life changing for some of the older people that use it, because it might be the 1 or 2 times a week they do leave the house and they do get a nutritious hot meal and they do socialise, and that the development, the physical and intellectual and emotional needs of the elderly people are served by being with each other, as well as the volunteers that we have running the luncheon clubs in particular. It's hugely beneficial to them. They're able to have a avenue for their volunteering. They're leading on something, and they're gaining themselves from having the opportunity of leadership within the safety of the college space.
Thank you very much. I think one of the things I would say straight away is there's a very important point here that we've had letters of support for this project from user groups. So I would ask the officers if we can actually make sure those are on the system, because I think it's always important that you can see the depth of support for a project. So if we could do that, please, that would be great. Simon, do you want to lead in on this?
Yeah, I'm just really happy to support. I've always advocated community spaces, build community, and I love the intergenerational work you're doing. So yeah, happy to support.
Echo that, happy to support.
Thank you. So I think that's such an important part of the community, the interaction between different generations. It's so important, and really do applaud you for that. I think it's been incredible. Please pass our thanks back to all involved for doing that.
Thank you so much.
Yeah, I think it's right. Darren, do you want to formally move this on? Second?
Yeah, happy to second.
So it has been moved and seconded. I'm very happy to support it. All those in favour? That is carried unanimously.
Thank you ever so much.
No, thank you very much, and please pass our thanks back, and thanks for coming along. We now move on to page 44, which is the Great Glen Parish Council. They're looking for 27,400 for multicoloured hoop top metal fencing for the play area on the play park. Has been supported by Councillor Mahal, who's been in touch and confirmed support. Do you want to come into play?
Yep. So for request is for 27,400 from the parish allocation of 70,000. The PC proposes to replace the existing wooden and metal netting fencing at the play park with ROSPA approved multicoloured hoop topped metal fencing, improving safety, appearance and longevity. The current fencing is in poor and unsafe condition due to age, misuse and attempted vandalism. Galvanised netting sections have become a climbing hazard for children. Several wooden posts and rails are damaged or loose, and one entrance gate fails to close properly due to structural misalignment. A recent ROSPA inspection highlighted the safety implications of these issues. The council has been advised to fully replace the existing fencing with a compliant metal design. Community feedback consistently supports investment in play park safety, and residents have expressed appreciation for planned improvements. Play park primarily serves children up to age 12, but older children and accompanying adults also make regular use of the site, and the facility welcomes families, carers and visitors from across Great Glen and surrounding villages. It would meet community leadership, promote health and well-being, with it promoting children's physical activity, motor skills and social interaction, and also with the safe and well-maintained boundaries, ensuring continued enjoyment and confidence for users of all ages and abilities. It also help with sustaining sustainable environment, because the fencing would be durable, low maintenance and designed to prevent damage, supporting long-term sustainability and safety. This requests a 27,400 out of remaining allocation of 70. They have also made all the local groups, community groups, aware of the grant. So in discussions with them, no other applications at this time. They really wanted to be here and send their apologies. The whole PC had a pre-arranged meeting with Davison's Builders, but the parish manager is available on the phone if we had any urgent questions.
Well, I would say I've met with representatives from parish council there. I know the support for the community is paramount for them, and I'm very, very happy to support this. As I said, Councillor Mahal has made it very clear her support for it. So I'm happy to formally move this. I don't know whether you have any comments at all, Dan? No, Simon? Somebody want to second it? Yeah. Okay, so it has been moved and seconded. All those in favour? Anyone against? That is carried. We now move on to page 45, which is the first Kibworth Scouts purchase and installation of a large greenhouse with external planters for outdoor education facility. And this is the first Kibworth Scouts affair, and it is £17,000. Claire, do you want to?
Okay, so yeah, 17,000 from the parish allocation of 70,000, and they're putting in some money from elsewhere as well. And the Scouts propose to enhance the outdoor education facility by installing a large wooden greenhouse with external raised planters, with benches and gardening tools funded through other grants. Following advice, the Scouts have opted to select a wooden greenhouse with toughened anti-vandal shatterproof safety glass. The young people are loving getting outdoors and have asked for this addition themselves. The project primarily benefits children and young people aged 4 to 14 from across Kibworth and Smeaton. The facility will provide opportunities for volunteers and members of the community to participate in gardening and allotment activities. The project promotes outdoor learning and healthy eating through growing vegetables and flowers. This is the only application from the Kibworth in this round. The project has the support of both Kibworth Beecham and Kibworth Harcourt parish councils. And they're here today.
Okay, thank you very much. Would someone like to come forward from parish or the Scout Service? Going to speak, please take a seat.
Hello, good evening. Samuel Arnold, lead volunteer for Kibworth Scout Group. You'll remember we came to you about a year ago now to request funding to start this outdoor education project. The success of that has far gone past what our expectations were for it. In fact, our indoor building has never been so quiet over the last 12 months as I think it's only until a couple of weeks ago that the young people have moved back inside, forced inside due to the cold, wet, dark weather that we're now experiencing. So they've loved having almost a year outside, totally engrossed in nature and outdoor activities. As we've received some feedback from themselves and parents as to what they want to do and continue doing, they identified some outdoor growing, learning, planting, all that sort of side of things that the setup that we funded last year didn't quite steer towards. So this is a slightly new direction that they want to expand into. It is quite an expensive project for what it sounds like, but as you can imagine, a large glass building that can accommodate enough young people that they all get a good experience and also is safe enough being made of glass for young people to be inside isn't something you can pull off a shelf. So this is a purpose-built greenhouse with toughened safety glass. Not only has it got to be safe for them being inside it, but we don't want vandalism, people finding it easy to smash, etc. There will be outdoor planting as well as the indoor, and we've received quite a bit of funding from other sources to provide equipment and resources to make the project go ahead with this capital project.
Thank you very much. Well, it has been supported by Councillor King, who's contacted and made his views known on this. Simon, do you want to come in?
No, I'm broadly happy with this. I assume this is their second year allocation then. Yeah. So yeah, quite a good project. People involved, so yeah, I'm quite happy.
Darren?
Yeah, anything that reconnects the young people with where their food comes from, I think is an excellent thing. I was also going to say, do you have the accolade of being the person who's addressed us the most? Which is obviously a tribute to how active your group is. So, yeah, I support this entirely. Absolutely. Cheers.
That's lovely. Well, thank you very much. That's, again, very, very good project. So are you formally moving this, Darren? You are, Simon?
Yeah.
Seconding it. So it has been moved and seconded. All those in favour? Anyone against? That is carried. We look forward to seeing you next year with the next project. And Yeah, keep up the good work. It's tremendous. Thank you very much indeed.
Thank you very much. And if you want to award us the accolade of most presented, you're very welcome to come and have a look at what we're doing.
Well, we'll do that at the same night. We'll award Claire with her certificate as well.
I'm still waiting for the invite to see the solar PV.
Absolutely. Do come and visit and see what we're doing.
We will.
Brilliant.
Definitely we will come and see you. Thank you very much indeed. Okay, we now move on to the next item on the agenda, which is on page 47. I think I've got the right one there. Yes, I have. Which is Ullersthorpe Playing Fields Association, New Children's Playground, and now requested is £20,000. There.
Last one. So yeah, 20,000, and that is the total town parish allocation. But the project is for 64,733, but they have funds already from Magna Park and the charity reserves. The project will install modern, inclusive and accessible play equipment, including swings, slides, climbing frames and sensory features, dedicated toddler and junior zones, wheelchair accessible roundabout and nest swing safety surfacing and seating for parents and carers. The loss of the playgrounds has left families, particularly those without private transport, without any accessible play provision. Over 200 children in Ullersthorpe and surrounding villages currently have no local facility, creating clear inequalities of access. The new playground project has been shaped through an extensive consultation process involving local schools, sports clubs, parents, community organisations and various stakeholders. The project primarily will benefit children aged 1 to 14 and their families, while also serving the wider community. It would address community leadership to create a sense of pride. Replacing the long-serving but now lost playground will restore a vital community facility at the heart of village life, strengthening civic pride and fostering intergenerational connection. Also promote health and well-being with a safe, inclusive and accessible playground, encouraging outdoor activity and reducing sedentary lifestyles. So it is for the whole parish allocation, but the parish council unanimously decided to support this application. There isn't anybody here.
Okay, if there isn't anyone here, I can see that Councillor Rosita Page has given her support to the project.
Yeah.
And it's well explained. Darren, please.
Can I ask what happened to the existing one? Has it just been built on or something? I don't know.
I think I did look this up. I think it was removed through development reasons in the area. So, yeah.
So it would have been
That's
section
the
106.
project planning, yeah, they had to be removed. And I think obviously in disrepair as well, and then that's yeah.
Well done, Darren.
Well, no, I support it. I just wondered where the old one went. So, yeah,
Are you formally moving?
I'll move it, yeah.
Simon? Yeah. Okay, well, it has been moved and seconded. I think we've got a very detailed report here, and obviously it's another investment in the community. So all those in favour? Anyone against? That is carried. I think we now move on to page 49, which is Councillors' Ward Improvement Grants. And obviously this is a background report. I would just say that thank you very much, because I asked some questions the other day myself about this, and thank you for the reply. Much appreciated. Yeah. Well, someone did in your department. Going back in your name. Well, okay. Somebody replied. Okay, any points on this, or are we just noting it?
It's just to note it really, because it was agreed, I think, when the paper went to cabinet and that we would just report to subcommittee grant. So it's to note. I think it probably is worth noting we are getting near the date where we need applications. So we've done quite a lot of chasing up. In order to get it through this year, we need suggestions from councillors by the 31st of January. I think you'll see that out of the 170,000 so far, I think about at the point at which we wrote this report, nearly 36,000 have been spent in 17 grants. I think we've had 23 grants going through now. The grants team are about to go back out again to speak to people who haven't allocated it. And I think the idea originally was that councillors would be primarily finding projects in their local areas. I think that probably has been harder for various reasons than we anticipated. There's issues around eligibility, there's issues around amounts and all sorts of things, kind of what's eligible. So the team will be going out to individual councillors and we will be offering to help as well if people are not quite sure what to spend it on. We'll be offering to help with that.
That's lovely. Thank you very much. Well, I'm happy to formally move that be noted. We want to second it?
Yes.
Any comments? No? All those in favour? Anyone against? That is carried. I'm not aware of any urgent business. And can I just say thank you very much for coming to see us. Much appreciated. And thank you for taking the time to explain to us the details behind your projects. And on that note, we declare the meeting closed.
That's mine.
We're still on, we're still